The nation's new 988 Suicide Lifeline, which launched just 6 weeks ago, is already inundated with calls. The hotline was set up as an alternative to 911 and as a first step in overhauling the U.S. crisis care system. NBC4's Angie Crouch has more from LA's local call center, which is located in Century City.
Suicide Prevention Center Crisis Line. My name's Rebecca. What's your name?
Dee Hirsch Mental Health Services in Century City is one of nearly 200 crisis centers across the country taking calls on the new 988 Suicide and Crisis Line. The 3-digit hotline was set up as an alternative to 911 and provides free support to anyone who's in emotional distress.
We've noticed a huge increase in calls, chats, and texts.
Carolyn Levitin is the Senior Director of Crisis Care at Dee Hirsch. She says since the launch of 988 in July, there's been a 35% increase in calls to the local suicide hotline. Texts for help have doubled. Levitin wants to reassure callers that the goal of 988 is to provide support and resources, not to send law enforcement to the homes of those in crisis.
Many people worry that if they talk about suicidal thoughts, there's so much stigma in our society that people are going to call the ambulance or emergency services right away. And that's really not the case. Only about 3% of our contacts end in an emergency response.
John and Sue Marasegan from Sherman Oaks lost their daughter to suicide 2 years ago.
It's what parents' nightmares are made of.
17-year-old Jay Lee Marasegan was an honors student and star volleyball player at Granada Hills Charter High School. Despite years of mental health struggles, Jade started her own jewelry design business and had a popular TikTok account. Jade's parents say they had trouble finding mental health services for teens. So after Jade died, they started the Jade Lee Marasegan Charitable Fund to provide resources for other families.
I wish that there was something like this when I was going through it.
The Marasegans say they're hopeful that the stigma surrounding mental health issues is diminishing, and their foundation and the new 988 hotline will make a real difference in saving lives.
The amount of grief that we've had to go through, that's not something we want other families to go through.
In Century City, Angie Crouch, NBC4 News.
Now, if you or someone you know needs to talk to someone, you can just call or text 988. That'll actually connect you to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline.